I forgot it.
Crackhead. Okay.
Yeah, just use crackhead.
Crackhead, yeah.
Cool.
All right, let's go.
1920 something.
Yeah, what's up? So I'm your co-host Seif.
I'm safe.
Yeah, quite original. And welcome to the podcast. I guess today we're going to be talking about, well, just about ourselves, about the show,
This show.
about why we're here,
Our new journey. Our new journey.
why you're here, and why hopefully you'll stay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Start off like just telling about you.
Yeah, of course. So, well, I'm a former student. Well, I'm in a bit of a gray area.
Yeah.
I'm the class of 2020, so it's like I'm a student for now, I think. 21. Actually, there's not that much to say about me. You know, I'm in that sort of pivotal moment of my life where I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing, and to class myself as a creative, maybe, or
Yeah.
or
You can.
ambitious young man, a handsome, ambitious young man, you know. And yeah, let's just reel it to you because you have a lot to share. We have a very.
But I don't want it to be all about me.
They'll find out about me as we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Well, Seif-Ali Umaar. This is Radwan. I'm Seif-Ali Umaar. So
We should probably put up how to
I'd
pronounce
say I think I will.
how to pronounce our names. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
'cause
we've
that's-
been done dirty.
PTSD, man. PTSD.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm a creative as a whole, stylist mainly, and then now pursuing this photography, I guess, dream job, career thing, which actually is good because it's taught me a lot throughout my years being a freelance and just understanding what I need to do to pursue a goal, you know,
Yeah.
and setting those goals for me. And yeah, that's legit what I do. I'm just a creative. I'm stylist / photographer, but I want to pursue this photography route, and yeah, that's where I'm headed.
Yeah. I mean, you're an eclectic personality, very multifaceted, and very
You're
talented.
gassing me.
Yeah, I'm just completely gassing him. Yeah.
100%.
I'm basically just writing your Tinder profile right now. But yeah, you're very talented. Because of where I am in life right now, it's a bit hard to put a label on who I am.
Yeah.
I've struggled to do that all the time. But I mean, who needs that A and B? I guess as time goes, will slowly unravel as my life progresses. You know?
course,
Yeah. Yeah, so the show.
The show, 19... Actually, let's start with the name, because I was gassed when you told me about the name, and I was like, okay, you know what? This is sick. There's
Yeah.
levels.
There's levels to this. No.
I already swore.
Yeah, there's levels to this shit. We'll bleep that out, maybe. So the name, 1920 something. So I've always been actually really good with naming things. It just comes to me, and then I work in a weird way, so I'll come up with a cool name, and I'm like, okay, what do I do with this name? You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, this sounds extremely basic of me, but it was quarantined. I was like, well, I did always want to do a podcast or a show, so this is the perfect time. And it was about the same time podcast mics were selling out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, so that's a testament to how original I was with my idea. But, so I called it 1920-something because, well, I'm in that age range. I'm in that 19 to 20-something age range. And so technically, so are you.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do a show that was about youth culture, fashion, art, pop culture. I mean, that's sort of the tip of the iceberg. That's what we're into as people, and that's what will help identify and our personalities and our interests and the fields we aim to pursue. But it also, I think we're going to span into just about everything, and the very essence of this show is we learn as we go.
That's true.
Yeah. So that into consideration, or considering that, sorry, the show is just about people from within a younger demographic discussing things that are often told to them or projected upon them by older demographics. No discrimination, by the way. And I wish anybody could watch this show, and anybody should. Everybody, probably if you're over 18 though. But yeah, that's about it. Really, that's the very essence of the show. It's I hate to say, oh, the kids are reclaiming what's theirs and talking about it and stuff like that, but in the very core of it, we are just a couple of young people.
Yeah.
talking to other young people and talking as young people, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I guess it's only so long until you can reference yourself as a young person. So I think right now is sort of the pivotal time to talk about what young people should be talking about.
Yeah.
I guess in our sector or our topics that we'll be speaking about. And of course,
if my mom's listening, you're forever young. Yeah, she wouldn't let me say otherwise anyways.
But yeah, we're of course going to be talking about all sorts of creative culture and arts and fashion, music, etc. So
yeah,
I think it's good to sort of reach out to a young audience.
100%.
Yeah, a young audience that I guess who want to know more and not sort of blowing our trumpets. We don't know that much either, but we're gonna be learning as we go. As you said. So 1920 something. Here we are, episode 1.
Yeah, episode 1. I mean, to put it this way, we're essentially almost winging it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think everyone in this sort of state in 2020 are winging everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are.
I mean, speaking of this year, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Where people, a lot of havoc. Without specific mentions, at least of the situation before today, tomorrow, and yesterday's situation. And by that, you probably know what I'm talking about, this illness that's going around. And I'm only treading lightly is to avoid demonetization and obviously to avoid any misinformation, but
yeah, you don't want to give bro science out.
Yeah, I don't want to. The bro science is for it's the last resort, you know. The bro science will be here for the rescue when things get real fucked up.
Yeah, real saucy.
Yeah, that's when it comes out. But yeah, I mean, everybody's sort of essentially winging everything. That sounds very nihilistic, but it's hard to define what everybody's going through right now. It's hard because everything is so it's a shared experience, and I think it's one of the widest shared experiences us as a society have ever faced. You know, it's for something to affect just about every country in the world, and then have to look at it from how it's affected every individual in the world. It's such an interpersonal experience that's also just on steroids. Yeah. And now with the whole civil unrest issue and the Black Lives Matter movement in America, the very tragic passing of George Floyd, there's a lot brewing, and there's a lot of emotions, and there's a lot of learning by a lot of people of and of not people who are of or of not are not of color. Excuse my stutter, but it's just such a odd time, especially an odd time to be young.
Yeah, really odd time.
Yeah, I mean, especially because there's a certain level of ignorance we're not privileged enough to have right now. Things would happen before, and you'd maybe come across on the TV, or if you're not living in the same area. But now, things happen, and you're just fed this immense amount of, coverage, truth, lies, manipulation.
I think it's crazy how common it is as well. Like back in the day when I don't know for you, but when I was younger, it was like such a shock and surprise when someone would be someone would get called out as a racist, and it was on TV, or you'd hear about it through, I guess, word of mouth. Yeah. And you're like, what? So crazy! What the hell? I mean, now it's just like so common. Yeah. And as we get older, but we're still young. We're in 2020, and I guess racism, I mean, it always has been there, and it hasn't. If anything, I think it was Will Smith who posted this on his Instagram, but he said, racism isn't increasing; it's just being filmed. Which is very true. Yeah, I mean,
I think so. The whole gauging whether racism is increasing or decreasing, it's not a thing in my mind. I think it's just shifted. So when you have something that's so overtly present, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, or all the way back to 400 years ago when slaves were first introduced into America, it needs for something. So this hatred or this prejudice towards people of color, or black people specifically, this is with regards to the current situation. For such a strong hatred to survive, and I say it's for it to survive because if you're gonna go out and kill someone or enslave somebody, you really hate them. You feel it inside you.
Yeah.
It's at the very core, and it brings out this innate need to hurt them and oppress them. So, for it to survive, it had to adapt, as with anything.
Yeah, 100%.
So its shift slowly takes a step back.
Yeah.
Step back, and then it becomes, like institutionalized racism, socioeconomic racism. It becomes societal racism. Become all these little things, and it become, for some people it's very overt and it's out there in certain countries. But like we were talking about this the other day, it's like being of color and living here in United Kingdom is like death by 1,000 cuts until somebody shanks you.
Yeah. 100%.
So in the States, like the whole, let's personify racism for a second here. It slips up and it kills somebody here and there, but it's been slowly trying to recede and become part of the very core of what Western civilization is.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And then it's, like I said, it's death by 1,000 cuts.
That's also true. Death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah, we're gonna blur that out.
No way.
No, that's not going on.
That is going straight in. This is a raw cut. I mean, it's true though what you just said.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
That just about sums up to how I feel about racists. But God, I didn't even mean that word. I think I slipped on my own tongue, and it was just.
I had to pounce.
Yeah, it was just a vocal mess up. Anyways, death by 1,000 cuts until someone stabs you, and I mean physically or verbally, someone stabs you.
100%.
And then you're just bleeding a little faster.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Yeah, without dwelling too much into specific incidents or things like that, we know that all too well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's also quite shocking to see how I guess the creative industry, because I mean my Instagram and I assume yours also, we follow a lot of creative people, lots of fashion industry brands and designers and so on and so forth, and it's amazing to see the creative community get together and also share it, but also there's the sort of shadow on these huge corporate designers, these elite designers, and seeing what do they do, and I think I've seen a lot of influencers, I guess, people who are quite popular on Instagram and social media. I've seen them call out a few designers, a few brands, small or big, doesn't matter, and ask them, what are you going to do? Because I guess in this current state, it is a matter of like brands and creators are using touches of the black culture in their design, in their
more than touches, man. It's like,
I mean, yeah,
cups.
It's legit, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
and they're using
dabs of it, yeah.
They're using it in their creative process, and
I mean,
it needs to be called out. That's basically what I was just gonna say. It needs to be called out on, and I think I'm personally for that. I'm personally for calling people out on what you're doing, since you've sort of touched into or took pieces of the culture. Yeah. What are you doing to make sure it's given back?
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, if you're a proprietor of a certain culture or a consumer of it, I mean, more on the consumer side of things, if you're actively consuming it on a daily basis, yet you can't sympathize with the providers, the proprietors, and they're speaking up about the struggle, and and you're cherry picking what's comfortable or what's easily consumable, which is pleasant works of art or contributions to society, then you're not necessarily being fair on the same person that is doing that for you. And obviously, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you listen to rap? God damn it, go out and riot now.
Yeah, of course.
Go do something now, Go do something now. And if you're not, then what the hell are you doing? No. I just ask you to, if not say something, if not vocalize, even though there's the argument that silence in itself is a betrayal of justice.
Of course.
Then just live a certain way. Please, just live a certain way. Just take it into your daily life. Whatever you accommodate in from somebody else's culture and you adopt it. Don't do much. It's not much to ask. Not to hate on the same person or actively contribute. Yeah. Like actively contribute to this person's oppression, and then when they complain about it, you're there like, oh, they're pulling this card or that card or whatever.
Yeah.
Just, and if you really, really hate people, if you really hate people of color that much, shut up.
Yeah. Kill yourself.
Yeah, I mean, just shut the fuck up. I'm sure your grandma loves you, so don't kill yourself. But, but just shut up. Just stick to yourself. Don't just stay away from us and learn.
Yeah.
Learn and just
educate yourself.
Don't inflict anything on anybody, man. Just man or woman. It's not worth it.
It's just sad.
Yeah, it's painful.
Imagine hating another human being so much just because of the colour of their skin or the race, the religion, or where they're from.
Yeah,
it's just.
And then people say, oh, but certain demographics in society act a certain kind of way or behave a certain kind of manner or do this and that, or oh, these kids' rap music is full of guns, murder, and this and that. Well, granted, but let's look at it this way. If you want to look at it in a more linear historical fashion, then why are these people
ranting about it?
Well, that. But why are these people in a position, why are these young men and women in a position where they have to where they have to go sacrifice everything, nothing to lose in most cases, sacrifice everything, commit crimes, be angry, just be mad at the whole world, promote all of this. When you're promoting something, it's mainly because it's probably what you believe in, it's all you know. Mm-hmm. But the reason people in certain communities, let's say, let's focus on the usual Western opinion that black people make music that's just full of violence. Why is there violence in the first place?
Exactly.
If you're bottled up and shoved under the rug for centuries, and then you can't go to school. If you're in a ghetto, you can't go to school. School sucks there. You can't speak to anybody. You can't do anything. If you live in the food desert, you can't even get your head straight because you can't eat right. You know what I mean?
That's so true.
You and I every day, I'm experimenting with new types of we have the privilege to experiment with new diets, new supplements, new nootropics, and we woke up like, oh, I feel invincible. I've told you this after, I feel like I'm made of steel. And I look back at me from a week ago, still privileged, and I'm like, who the hell was that loser? What was he thinking? What was he eating? Imagine not having that choice. Yeah. Imagine not having the option to go to school. Imagine being abandoned by society. Imagine going out and having to worry about looking like a threat.
That's true.
Where in the hell in that daily routine do you think, oh, let me just leave all this behind and with no supply, with no resources, no resources, and I know people get those thoughts and people make it through and they achieve excellent feats, but with no resources and not a helping hand in sight, how the hell are you gonna accommodate for people's feelings about your music, or how are you gonna think twice before committing a crime, when that's the only thing that's there for you?
That's true.
And you're angry and you're pissed and you're oppressed. And there's only a certain threshold people can handle,
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tangent, but it lines up with current events. That's what I've been thinking a lot. I told you I just had that discussion about an hour ago.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, people saying, without mention of who, someone saying, it's down to people to fix themselves. Well, give them a chance to.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
And also, I guess that would be a good whole episode to have a guest on and get their views as well. We have a few people that we would like to get on and
100%
get their views on it. Of course, going now, I don't want to revert the conversation again, but going back onto the fashion idea, what the industry is doing. So obviously we've had this lockdown for 3 months now, 4 months, going to our 4th month.
It's been since March.
March, yeah. So going into our 4th month. Yeah. And it's interesting to see how fashion, or even the creative community, has shifted dramatically.
Yeah.
It's almost like we work. Off instinct. We work off instinct, and I think most creatives themselves individually, when they're trying to create something, they work off instinct.
Yeah.
And I think it's also cool to see that actually happen in a whole.
Yeah.
So you see brands like Helmut Lang were he did this T-shirt competition where they got their demographic or their fans or people who follow Helmut Lang to create a T-shirt print or an idea. And and submit it. And out of, I think, thousands of submissions, which were amazing, I submitted and I took a huge L, but it's okay. I'm not upset. The people who won want to make, like, their work was great, and it's also cool just to see that involvement and to get people working whilst they're at home and not bored. And I think it's really nice to see some brands do that, some probably not. And again, fashion brands, they always have this I guess schedule they have to follow when they release certain stuff. And BOF, who I despise, but they posted recently that Gucci have now gone seasonless. I think loads of designers were doing that before Gucci, so yeah, it's a bit weird to promote that and say that they're probably one of the first ones to do it.
I mean, listen, there's a major label with a lot of people waiting season on season where you're doing. It is a commendable act, but you can, like, the whole seasonless thing, granted it puts pressure to produce and overproduce and produce lots of filler items to just kind of keep the flow going. You're tiring resources and you're tiring your staff, but it's more of, even if you're seasonless, what are you doing all year? That's what matters most, in my opinion. Like, I think you can be seasonless but still be absolutely destructive to the environment, you know what I mean? So,
and also you can, like, that's a good point, that you're seasonless, but what do you do for the rest? Like, do you just release one collection and then the next collection, when do you do that? And I guess when that next one comes, and if you've taken a lot of time to create that, it must be, I guess, wow, it should have this wow.
Yeah, so
and if it doesn't, it's a very disappointing thing to see.
Yeah, so obviously this needs time to manifest or formulate or whatever. But this needs time to come together, and eventually we'll see the results of it with such a major label like Gucci as well taking the jump. We'll see how it goes, you know.
I know you're a secret fanboy as well.
Of Gucci.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm an Alessandro boy for life, man, for life, 100%.
So I was obviously treading carefully before I did Gucci.
I go for it, man. I'm open to all suggestions. Listen, some of it, not all of it.
Yeah,
we all know
that.
100% some of it. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just nice to see how, as a community, creative community, how we deal with this. And now we have, of course, the whole recent events of Black Lives Matter and the whole George Floyd thing. Rest in peace. I think it's really interesting to see how the rest of this year is gonna. Do. I mean, I'm not looking forward to it, but you're gonna have to. Like, tomorrow's gonna come regardless. You have.
I mean, in my opinion, I think another civil unrest was far overdue.
Yeah. 100%.
And like I always like to say, like, a fish can only swim in tainted water for so long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So true.
You know, and by fish, I mean oppressed communities and tainted water. You know, you can only do it for so long.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then before it dies, or the fisherman eats it, it gets poisoned.
Yeah, we were taking time on.
I just made that on the spot.
That was pretty good, actually.
The wisdom pearl for you guys.
Yeah.
100%.
That's the one-liner.
Told you I'm good with names.
But yeah, we're literally a ticking time bomb. And I say we, because we're part of this BAME, as we're categorized.
Yeah. So a bit on the background, you're Pakistani, Lebanese.
Yeah. And you're?
Egyptian. I'm North African. I'm sort of in this bit of a grey area. Part African, part Arabian, sort of, yeah.
But we still represent people of colour.
Yeah.
People of a minor ethnicity.
Yeah.
And again, we represent it to a whole. Like, we're not just sort of squaring ourselves off, oh, you're this and you're that. No, we're representing us as a whole. And we also want to give our people, our brothers and sisters.
You want another analogy? When the shark starts circling, this school of fish gets tighter. Hey!
That was right. It was a bit shit. The first one was better. The first one was better.
First one was a good old head wisdom bomb right there. I'm not, but in any way, you know, making any jokes or you know, adding any comedy to this subject. We're just kidding around. But as people on the receiving end of daily, if not abuse, but prejudice, you know, it is sometimes healing to joke about, you know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And I guess everyone has their own way of dealing with it, especially me. And I think my friends know that as well, that I just make jokes out of like random shitty situations. But yeah, I mean, guys just riot. No, don't riot. Protest.
Listen, I'm not gonna categorize what people should do, especially,
Yeah.
do what you need to heal,
Yeah.
but please, for your sake and for the sake of those around you, for the sake of people within your own community, think
Before you do something, yeah.
Think. And I know it's hard. It's painful. It's hard. You are angry. You are oppressed. You are mad. Rioting is a response to a country or a society or a Western society that was built on theft.
Yeah.
So looting
Facts.
is in essence a mirror of what happened to Native Americans. Happened in my own country. Happened in my whole continent, in your continent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Happened to our communities. So it's funny seeing it reflected back and thinking, what is right to do? But listen, a lot of members of the community who had their stores looted and representatives of the culture. I'm not going to mention anyone specific because it's an ongoing issue, but they said, certain quotes, "Oh, forgive them, Lord, for they do not know what they are doing, or do not know how they what they are doing," or something like that. Something along those lines. And then other ones is like, if it heals your pain, keep it.
Yeah.
If it heals your pain, keep it. If you took something, keep it. But you hurt somebody else too.
Yeah, in the process.
If you're looting big corporations, okay, there's flexibility around that, and then there's all these $1 million or $1 billion insurance policies in place. But just think about your community.
Yeah.
Think about how you're gonna heal. Think about how easy it is, or as a matter of fact, how difficult it is as a person of color or a black person, in a certain demographic or within a certain socioeconomic, range or threshold. How hard it is to get insurance, or how hard it is to make a claim. How insurance companies work around civil unrest and riots. They don't necessarily pay people out.
No.
How hard it's gonna be to get a loan again.
It's true.
How hard it is to bounce back. How hard it is gonna be to even ever consider bouncing back, or just grieve the loss of your lifelong efforts. So, do what you need to heal. I'm in no position to tell people what to do, because I've not experienced the same kind of stuff. We're on the receiving end of the same abuse, but not to that extent. Because America is just, at this point, the state is just a wasteland.
Yeah.
But it's also not as intensified at least in terms of policing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just listen, just hold on, be strong, speak your voice, yell what you think if you have to, scream at the top of your lungs. And if it heals you, do it. But please just think twice. For yourself, for your sake, for others' sake, for your community's sake. We're all in this together, and for the whole collective community's sake, just take a second to breathe sometimes and reevaluate, and then go right back to screaming if need be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting emotional.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly that.
Yeah.
Just be careful as well. Just take care of yourself and your neighbours as well. That's really important.
Take care of each other. And coming from a country that's... I've lived through 3 revolutions back to back in the span of about 5 years. Just be careful.
Yeah.
There's a lot of malpractice involved when these things happen, and just try and work around that. Try your best not to be set up. I'm not going to say much more.
Yeah.
Try your best not to be set up, and you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Of course.
When I say setting you up.
Yeah, 100%.
For failure. So just try your best, because it does exist. But also, just try to be safe, because it can get very dark. It can get very dark and very lethal very fast.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Let's call it episode.
Yeah.
We went on quite a long tangent.
Of course,
but,
we'd love to obviously continue talking, but
there'll be a dedicated episode. For sure.
For sure. There will be a dedicated episode to these subjects, and we have more subjects to talk about. Again, mainly creative based, but also real life and just whatever based. Whatever comes to our heads.
100%.
Okay, well
that's an episode. Thank you guys very much, and if you're here past how long has it been now? 30 minutes. 32 minutes of your day.
Yeah.
Thank you, and we'll hope to see you again or speak to you again. And by all means, our social media individually or collectively will be somewhere. And please, come back. All criticism is welcomed. Yeah.
Tell us where we fucked up. Tell us what you want to talk about.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Subscribe, like, and share it to your friends, peers, whoever. This is probably the best time. We would love some engagement and people just to have a conversation
100%.
with.
Yeah.
Even if it's through the DM or even in the comments down below. Just tell us something and we'll talk about it.
100%. All right, that's an episode. Thank you very much.
Peace.